Attention please, this is the final call for Korean Air Flight 9111 to Guam. Departing passengers should proceed to gate number 23 immediately.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We're ready to pre-board those customers for exhibit miles, chairman, platinum, gold preferred members, Star Alliance gold members, and welcome.
The Mumbai Airport art program goes much before the Mumbai Airport itself. It goes back to 1994 when I got exposed to Indian art.
So both of us were so excited. We said, I wish we can look at the history and look at how beautiful the old architecture and all that is. And he used to keep saying, I want to build an airport where people come in and feel that they're in India, not XYZ, any other country.
That's why this art program will open up not only the people traveling many times and also new people. What is the culture of India? What are the people? The ancient history. And there is one place under this roof we'll be able to tell our people what is India.
So we all spent a lot of time trying to give this program an identity, and the outcome of that is this beautiful name, Jaya He. It is glory to the nation, and which is what this program is about. And it involved thousands of people.
So the terminal, if you think about it as a body, the art is like the soul and the inspiration is like the soul. And when it had to be the face of the country, then it had to be larger than life. It had to be something which will be awe-inspiring, and which it had to be something which the world will talk about. because of who the person is, it was very quick to find out. I mean, it was very easy because there was only one person that we could think of or dream of who could conceive something as crazy as this. And that was Rajiv Sethi.
These are rare opportunities. It's the greatest thing to be able to have the luxury of being able to give. And the airport provided me a very complete canvas for creating, of curating, of camaraderie. So all this is part of a committed program, and to that I feel privileged to commit myself. This is a program which will reach out to the thresholds of those who have great skills, who are in every corner of this country but have never seen the light of day.
So the art program was envisaged as both traditional and contemporary, along with artifacts, acquired artifacts.
And Jaya He is basically divided into two areas. One being the thresholds of India, which contains the 6 major themes, and that is actually the art wall. And the other part of the art program is for arriving passengers. It's called layered narratives.
So there was a central spine, like a wall. This 1.2 kilometer wall went from being 10 feet high to 60 feet. And we've made the whole wall into an art piece. So we call that the thresholds of India.
So it's been divided into 6 themes, which the scenographer Rajiv Sethi felt were in themselves representative of India.
So the 5 elements was the first theme, the India Elemental, which talked about the Panch Mahabhutas, the India Elemental. It started from space, then air, then we moved on to water, fire, and then earth.
And India is also about globalization. It is also about technology. So India Global was that kind of a theme, and the whole concept was to focus on the idea of recycled cityscapes, and it became a very strong theme to also work with technology.
From there we go on to Sentinels, where we encounter all the things that are auspicious at liminal points of entry and departure.
We're looking at Dwarpals, elements which are used in architecture like Kerala Kodis, pillars, Naga totems. Then there is India Greets. There are 2 themes, one is on the west wall and one is on the east wall. The west wall is based on theatre curtains of Marathi drama. Then on the east wall, the India Greets section talks about faces and fascia.
So for the fascias of India, these large facades that have been acquired as our artifacts placed along with the faces like masks and things like that. So he's mixing architecture with, humans.
You go on from there to Seamless India, which is like a gateway from 4 different corners, from the north, from the east, from the south, from the west, created by contemporary artists and traditional craftsmen.
And then of course we had the ways of movement. India moves.
So it showcases, age-old modes of transportation, vahans, which are the vehicles of gods, and different forms of transportation.
The second part, again determined by the morphology of the building itself, where the travelators were kept very close to the wall. And I was sort of attracted by the idea, the kinetics of people moving so close to the wall, and wondered whether the wall itself could move and provide you a layer of a narrative. And I chose Mumbai as a theme, as a symbol of urbanism.
And a lot of them had kinetic elements in their work, which move, they use screens. And also the fact that they were along the travelators, it resonated with the rhythm and the spirit of Mumbai.
The third part is with the baggage claim areas. I thought that the form of those carousels were like big catwalks. And I just thought, as these Adidas and VIPs spew out of the baggage claim vents. That would be great to use the island in the middle as a space for an exposition of India's most beautiful bags. So those are the three areas that we have conceived, put together in a manner that doesn't sort of have rigid boundaries, but the artwork merges to become a whole, as indeed India does.
So the first thing that we did maybe 4 years ago was to go out and acquire all these objects. So we visited Cochin and Jodhpur and Ahmedabad and Chennai and Delhi. It was amazing how Rajiv actually just went around picking up things, and we said, where is he going to place them? How is this going to happen? And because he had the big picture in mind.
Many of these things I found in a way that were beyond repair, which were sold off or thrown away. They had to be brought back to given another life. And some of them were very old, some of them were 11th century, some of them were contemporary, some of them very fragile, some of them very robust and very heavy, stone. Then the big challenge was where they were going to keep 7,000 objects. There wasn't a place big enough to keep them all where I could also start putting them together.
मैं सेरामिक आर्टिस्ट हूँ।
मैं अभी गोंड आर्ट का काम करता हूँ। ग्राम पाटनगढ़ का हूँ, मध्य प्रदेश।
आई एम फ्रॉम बैंगलोर।
जयपुर में काम करता हूँ।
There was a group show of Auroville artists in Delhi. The day before closing, I had a call. She said, Rajiv Sethi, he wants to come and talk to you about your work.
राजीव जी ऐसे व्यक्ति है कि उनको पता चलता है कि कौन क्या कर सकते हैं, इसलिए मैं वहाँ सब काम छोड़ के दौड़ा वहाँ चले गए।
मैंने एक बैलगाड़ी बनाई थी, राजीव जी सेठी ने देखा काम, तब इनको आइडिया कि चलो वुडन खटोला बनाते हैं हमें।
I said, of course, I've been interested. I've been wanting to do a mobile all my life.
I realized that if I had to meet Rajiv Sethi, I better take a sample with me. I made a sample and I took it to Rajiv. He liked it.
The word spread that there'll be a person with white hair who would get down off his car and pull any gudri which is hanging. And then Rajiv just called me and Tapan. He said, look, we have to have this gudri presence felt.
प्रत्येक आर्टिस्टचा डेमो झाला, निवड करून असे मला विषय दिले की एके ह्याच्यात म्हणजे पूर्ण जंगल.
So then Rajiv said, what about sound? And we co-created the concept what I called Mumbai Wings.
আমি তখন এত আনন্দ পেয়েছিলাম যে আমার একটা কাজ বোম্বে এয়ারপোর্টে যাবে, আমি যে কোনো মূল্যে কিন্তু আমি এই কাজটা করব।
देश विदेश के लोग देखेंगे, भारत का, हमारा छत्तीसगढ़ का हम नाम होगा।
आइकॉनिक फिगर होता है।
हर एक आदमी को अलग अलग काम दिया, जैसे लकड़ी का काम हम लोगों को दे दिया। सारी टीम एक साथ में काम करके एक नया पूरा वॉल तैयार होगा।
एक वैसा ही यूनिटी सी हुई, तो यहाँ के भी वही मुझे लगा कि एक हॉस्टल की फील आई।
Taking cricket as a metaphor and also taking Buddhism as a metaphor, to kind of combine it together, to narrate a story.
दो चीजें एक साथ नजर आएगी, नया और पुराना।
दो का मिश्रण काफ़ी अच्छा लगा।
The idea is a party in the sky above Bombay, and all the nations of the world are flying in to join the party.
The initial idea was to just create a big terracotta blob on the wall. Like, it was going to be this 1200 square feet, massive, like no other material. It was just going to be terracotta.
We found this, but how do we humanize it? How do we give it the texture that it needs?
Roughly speaking, I thought that it could be something like night and day, because you are open 24 hours in that sense, but you are, constantly journeying.
The brief that we're given is called Gopuram, God and Goddesses. We thought, well, what happens if the gods have jumped off? What if they leave the Gopuram?
I thought it should be indirectly connected to Mumbai.
My work would be like a formlessness. It is an experience that you feel at that time.
It's actually very simple work. It's about space. Somewhere it is Mumbai, somewhere it is my space.
I thought I will track a particular journey in Bombay of going through the streets in the yellow cab.
Looking at transport and travel, so I thought of incorporating the 7 vahanas of the Saptamatrikas.
$1,001 shivling would be sort of go on the ceiling basically like that, and there would be mirror replica down at the bottom.
The material I've used is essentially recycled metal.
And I have created a whole city out of garbage.
I have been working on an installation which is based on Mumbai as a Google map, which is made out of scrape and circuits.
All of us would collect raw material for the quilts, come back with kilos of them, and we would sort it out.
राजीव को सेटिस्फेक्शन एक बार में तो नहीं होता है, इसलिए हम लोगों ने काफ़ी सारे सैंपल्स किए हैं।
जैसे उनकी पहली विजिट में उन्होंने काफ़ी चेंजेस बोला था कि वैसा नहीं चाहिए, उसके बाद काफ़ी हमें लगा कि हाँ चेंजेस चाहिए वो।
मिस्टर सेठी का दिमाग में एक तरह से फिल्म का टेलर है कि उसको हमको लगाना कैसे, लोगों को दिखाना कैसे है। मुझे एक तरह का एक कुछ चीज़ चाहिए थी जो उसकी परछाई हो।
हमने तो वेस्ट का ही इस्तेमाल दिखाना है वहाँ पर।
पूरा 1.5 साल रेगुलर कंटिन्यू हम लोगों ने मटेरियल पे काम किया। अंततः ये फिर मुझे लगा कि एक्रेलिक बेस्ट है।
I'm working at basically the miniaturizing these kind of houses, what you see. How would you see these buildings when they are being torn down at different stages?
তো এইটা একটা দুর্গা প্রতিমার একটা ওয়ার্কশপ হচ্ছে। দুর্গা ঠাকুরগুলো কিভাবে তৈরি হয় ধাপে ধাপে কয়েকটা ধাপ দেখানো হয়েছে।
वहाँ जितने भी एलिमेंट्स हैं उसको मैंने एक साथ जोड़ने की कोशिश की है, जिसमें पानी है, चिड़िया हैं, आर्किटेक्चर है।
We are working on khadao, which is comprising of 3 very large oversized khadaos, probably the largest one has ever seen.
गोंड स्टाइल में हम लोग हवाई जहाज को अलग अलग तरीक़ों से दिखाया है। इसमें कोई मछली का रूप है, कोई चिड़िया का रूप है, कोई अलग अलग मगर के रूप में भी है।
One end, what is case in medium that we are using. The other end was Srinagar art, whatever that medium they use, paper mache.
Or wood carving, katamban, pinjrakari. And only later on we decided to have some glazed tiles as well.
So people just see a spout of water when you're walking by, and by accident somebody just touches it and you actually hear a note. And that could trigger off a whole bunch of reaction from others who are watching from the side and actually want to jump in.
I think the children might enjoy this a lot because it has some element of magic.
My work is about an illusion. So while people walking, you can see that images disappear.
We give a feel when a person is walking, there is a hero which is walking along with him.
That screen looks like a aircraft window. When once a viewer stand in front of it, he can view himself as if he is traveling in a flight.
So when people stand in front of that, it looks like a painting, but suddenly it's moving.
व्यूअर को पहली नज़र में लगेगा कि लोग मशीन में जा रहे हैं और अमिताभ जी बन के आ रहे हैं.
It's more into your mind game, you know. It's all about the composition, how you look at the things.
We just want to illusion of that fold. The light and shadow कैसी गिर रही है वो पेंटिंग में करना है और पिक्टोरियल 2-dimensional सरफेस पे हमें 3-dimensional फील लाना है.
This is an extremely large scale sculptural drawing, a work made of graphite on wood, which is hand done. I mean, it's a question of mark making repeatedly over and over and over again.
Such a big thing, you cannot move it also. So it will be in pieces, joint molds.
इसको मैं पिंच कर डायरेक्ट बनाता हूँ इसको. ये कोई मोल्ड नहीं होता है, कोई इसकी कास्टिंग वास्टिंग नहीं करनी होती.
I designed a scissor lift. On top, there is a very simple applique work of a building. The whole construction goes down and then come up, then down and then come up on electronic system.
This paper actually is a lot of layers, and I work from back, I work from front. So when I put them in a light box, everything camouflage, and then they make a different story.
3 शैली इसमें डालने की कोशिश की मैंने, मुगल और दूसरा मेवाड़ और तीसरा शेखावटी थोड़ा टोन.
इस पेपर के कोलाज हो जाने के बाद जो